But first tonight, the controversy surrounding the arrest of a JNU student leader on charges of sedition has spread in several directions. After yesterday's brazen attack on students and lawyers, the anger against the Delhi police is growing. Several protests held today, and the issue has now reached the country's top court. It's our top story tonight.
A day after the brazen attack on students and journalists in a Delhi court, it was another day of protest and counter-protest today. A group of JNU teachers and staff members kept the classes shut for the second day and held protest demanding JNU Students' Union President's release.
Some lawyers were, party to this attack and बहुत स्लोगन किया, गाली गलौज भी हो रहा था. पुलिस ने कुछ नहीं कहा. यहाँ जैसे प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस सुना, वो साइलेंट ऑब्जर्वर थे. उन्होंने न रिस्ट्रेन किया, न रोका. They were just silent spectators.
But a section of teachers also held a counter-protest, saying the police action was necessary.
This has been going on for the last 3 years, and we have repeatedly been victimized by a set of students who are named there as 8 students, and there are few also left out. And the administration has failed to take action in the past. Now, for the first time, an action has been taken. Some freebies have to be stopped in this university.
Hundreds of journalists marched to the Supreme Court demanding action against the lawyers who thrashed their colleagues yesterday. The top court will hear their plea tomorrow. Outside JNU, the Bajrang Dal activists demanded that the university that has become a hub of anti-nationals should be shut.
It has become a battleground for these protests. The Bajrang Dal activists are here, and as you can see, they are in fact shouting slogans against what they say were anti-national activities that are taking place inside the JNU, and demanding all those who are supporting those anti-national slogans, they should also be booked.
Acquitted in the Parliament attack case, former DU professor S.A.R. Gilani, who is also now behind the bars on charges of sedition, has been sent to 2 days police remand. All eyes are now on the Supreme Court, which has dismissed a plea seeking an NIA probe into the sedition charges against Kanhaiya Kumar, but is set to hear a bunch of petitions against the lawyer's attack on students and journalists. Bureau Report, India Today.
And political reactions are coming thick and fast as the fight over student protests on one side, political protests on the other in JNU goes on. Let's look at some of the biggest voices that have spoken out today.
पत्रकारों को जिस प्रकार मारा गया कोर्ट में, वो सरासर गलत है, बिल्कुल गलत है, और हम इसको कंडेम करते हैं. यूनिवर्सिटीज में, कॉलेजेस में आरएसएस के वाइस चांसलर्स बैठाए जा रहे हैं. हर कॉलेज में आरएसएस का वाइस चांसलर बैठाया जा रहा है, और जो स्टूडेंट्स का एक्सप्रेशन है, जो उनके दिल की बात वो बोलना चाहते हैं, उसको दबाया जा रहा है.
Who was making those slogans? Then appropriate action within the university can be taken. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि वहां पुलिस आ जाए, मारपीट हो जाए, सेडिशन चार्जेस लगाए जाएं विदाउट इंक्वायरी.
जवाहरलाल नेहरू यूनिवर्सिटी में क्या हुआ, किसने परमिशन मांगा, कौन सी पोस्टर था वहां, क्या नारा लगाया वहां, और किसने क्या कहा, वो जांच हो रहा है. जांच पूरा होने के बाद तथ्य सामने आएगा. पुलिस नहीं जाना चाहे तो कुछ हो गए तो उसके लिए कौन जिम्मेदार है. ये सब विषयों के बारे में खुलकर पार्लियामेंट में चर्चा करेंगे ना, संकोच करने की जरूरत नहीं है.
भारत की बर्बादी तक जंग चलेगी, जंग चलेगी. वहां लगते हैं नारे, अफजल हम शर्मिंदा हैं, तेरे कातिल जिंदा हैं. अफजल को फांसी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कंफर्म किया, रिव्यू रिजेक्ट किया, रेक्टिफिकेशन रिजेक्ट किया, उनके माफीनामे पर महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी ने रिजेक्ट किया. राहुल गांधी जी इस पर क्या कहना है?
यहाँ पे सीधा सीधा देख रहे हैं कि एक धर्मनिरपेक्ष जनतंत्र का गणतंत्र जो हिंदुस्तान है, और उस भारत की जो हमारी संविधान है, उसका खुले आम उसका उल्लंघन हो रहा है. ले जाने की जरूरत क्या है? ये चुनावी मुद्दा हो गया, चुनावी मुद्दा हो गया. अब कल देखें आप त्रिपुरा के अंदर चुनावों के अंदर कितनी बड़ी भारी जीत सीपीएम की हुई.
And the man who started it all, BJP MLA OP Sharma, remains unrepentant to the day. A day after beating up a left worker, Sharma told India Today's Rahul Kanwal that his act was a natural reaction to anti-national activities like slogans to split India.
If I had a gun, I would have opened fire. Won't I beat up someone who abuses one's mother? क्या मतलब हुआ ये? विधायक हैं आप, गुंडों वाली बातें कर रहे हैं?
पता नहीं आपको क्या लग रहा है?
नहीं, क्या लग रहा है? आप बताएं, क्या लगना चाहिए?
क्या करें?
क्या करें?
क्या करें? बताइए।
आप बताइए।
आपको मारेगा भी, भारत माता को गाली भी देगा, और फिर क्या उसकी आरती उतारी है? क्या करें?
तो हाथ पैर चलना ठीक है?
नहीं, इसमें दिक्कत क्या है? जब कोई मार रहा है, हाँ। गाली दे रहा है, भारत माता को गाली दे रहा है, हाँ। मुझे गाली दे रहा है, तो क्या करें?
नहीं, तो बंदूक उठाना ठीक है?
क्या करें? क्या
नहीं, आप बताइए ना।
क्या करें?
आपके हिसाब से बंदूक उठा के ऐसे किसी को मारना ठीक है?
अरे अब उस वक्त गुस्सा था, बात हो गई, खत्म हो गई बात।
नहीं, तो अब आप अफसोस जताएंगे, अपोलोजाइज करेंगे, देश को माफी मांगेंगे जो आपने कहा किया गलत है?
किस लिए माफी मांगना?
माफी
वो मांगेंगे। सुनिए,
ये कह रहे हैं कि बंदूक आप चलाएंगे, क्या ये ठीक है?
मैं कह रहा हूँ, मैं कब मना कर रहा हूँ? मैंने मना नहीं किया।
कहा?
हाँ, मैंने कहा।
चला के दिखाऊं आपको बयान?
दिखाएंगे,
क्योंकि आपने कहा
है। मैंने कब मना कर रहा हूँ? मैं
फिर
मैं तो मना नहीं कर रहा आपसे।
तो माफी मांगिए।
किस लिए माफी मांगू?
क्योंकि आप कह रहे हैं आप बंदूक उठाएंगे, किसी को गोली मारेंगे, क्या दावेदार हुए?
मैं अपने स्टैंड पे कायम हूँ
कि आप गोली मारेंगे।
बिल्कुल मारूंगा।
आप गोली मारेंगे जिससे आप अग्री नहीं करते हैं?
जिससे ये आप इसको क्यों तोड़ मरोड़ के पेश कर रहे हैं? आप ये बात जो बोल रहे हैं अब, ये ठीक नहीं है।
कैसे?
जो आपने अब बाद में सेंटेंस बोले ठीक नहीं है।
कैसे?
अरे कैसे क्या होता है सर? आप चीज को सही तरीके से पेश करें।
सर, मैं आपका बयान आपको बता रहा हूँ, आप कह रहे हैं
तो मैं
बयान पे आप कायम है।
हाँ, मैं हूँ।
अगर बंदूक होती तो मैं गोली मार देता। अभी भी?
हाँ, कह तो रहा हूँ।
अभी भी गोली मार देते?
कह तो रहा हूँ।
तो फिर आप में और किसी क्रिमिनल में क्या फर्क है?
नहीं है तो ठीक है, जो क्रिमिनल का जो होता है वो मैं भुगतूंगा, ना जाऊंगा, जो जेल जाना होगा जेल चला जाऊंगा।
क्या ये क्रिमिनल एक्टिविटी नहीं है?
ये क्रिमिनल एक्टिविटी आपकी निगाह में है, मेरी निगाह में नहीं है।
Om Prakash Sharma is totally unrepentant. I want to bring in at the moment my correspondent Anusha Soni, who covers the courts for us, who was there when this happened, and Amit Jamai is the leader of the CPI, who has claimed that he was beaten up by Om Prakash Sharma there. Amit, first the question to you. Mr. Sharma claims that you and others were engaged in sloganeering, anti-national sloganeering. Please tell us, what was the provocation that led to Mr. Sharma chasing you and trying to beat you up? Please tell me, what did you do or say?
देखिए, मैं कोर्ट के अंदर था और कन्हैया कुमार के लिए हम सारे लोग वहाँ इकट्ठा थे। आयशा थी वहाँ पे, जो है बहुत सारे लोग, प्रोफेसर्स, एकेडमिशियन थे। जब अंदर लोगों को मारा गया, सारे लोग कॉमरेड्स को पीटा गया। ये जो कोई विक्रम चौहान है, इनका लीगल सेल में है, इनके बीजेपी के प्रदेश लेवल का आदमी है, वो खुद क्लेम करते हैं अपने फेसबुक पे, आप जाके देख लीजिए, चेक कर लीजिए। जब उन्होंने मारा और कुछ जर्नलिस्ट ने इंटरवीन किया कि आप वकील हैं, आप लोग किस तरह की बातें कर रहे हैं, तब उन्होंने जर्नलिस्ट को पीटा। जब मुझे लगा कि दिल्ली पुलिस भी उनका साथ दे रही है, ये लोग
नहीं, आपको क्यों?
मैं बता रहा हूँ सर, उसका कनेक्शन है ना। मैं जब बाहर आया वहां से, क्योंकि मैंने दिल्ली पुलिस को बोला कि आप लोग यहाँ इनकी हिफाजत करिए, प्रोफेसर्स को वो मार रहे हैं, तो दिल्ली पुलिस मुस्कुरा रही थी मुझे देखकर, जो है। फिर हम लोग कोर्ट से बाहर आए गेट नंबर 2 पे, और इनका ये कहना है कि ये श्री अरुण जेटली जी के साथ कोर्ट में ये गए थे। उसके बाद मैंने वहां पे टीवी को बाइट दे रहा था, मैंने अंदर की घटना बताई कि अंदर भारत माता की जय, हिंदू राष्ट्र बन के रहेगा, देशद्रोहियों को पाकिस्तान भेज के रहेंगे, ये कम्युनिस्ट, ये JNU, और ऐसी गालियां मैं आपको बताऊं कि मैं अपने मेल फ्रेंड्स को भी उनको मैं शेयर नहीं कर सकता हूं, ये जो गालियां ये लोग दे रहे थे अंदर। मैं जब बाहर आया और ये स्लोगनिंग हम दे रहे थे कि रोहित वेमुला का मुद्दा कन्हैया को अरेस्ट करने से नहीं दबेगा। अरुण जेटली जी, आपको जवाब देना होगा, आप मंत्री हैं, आपके रहते हुए 10 फीट की दूरी पर 200 वकील गिरा गिरा के लोगों को मार रहे हैं, ये कैसे पॉसिबल है? JNU में जब डी राजा जाए, राहुल गांधी जाए, NUSU या AISF कुछ भी बदमाशी अगर कर दे और राजा जी कहें कि साहब मुझे तो पता ही नहीं है, वहां तो कुछ भी नहीं हुआ है, तो मैंने ये स्लोगन लगाया कि आपको जवाब जेटली जी देना होगा। ये भाई साहब ओम प्रकाश जी ज़ईफ आदमी है, बुजुर्ग है, मेरे बाप के बराबर ये होंगे, ये मेरी तरफ सब लाइव चल रहा है। राजदीप जी, कोई चीज ऐसी नहीं है कि जो रिकॉर्डेड नहीं है, ये मेरी तरफ मुझे उन्होंने चेस किया। 5 इनके साथ 8-10 लोग इनके साथी थे, मुझे दौड़ा के सड़क पे उन्होंने पटक के पैरों से, घूसों से अब उठाएगा रोहित वेमुला का मुद्दा, अब तू एचआरडी का गेट तोड़ेगा, क्योंकि एचआरडी रोहित वेमुला में मैं भी था और इन्होंने मुझे पहचान रखा था और ये कहा कि मैं अरुण जेटली का आदमी हूं, मैं उनके साथ आया था, उसके खिलाफ नारा लगाओगे, पूछिए आप।
नहीं, एक मिनट,
फोन पे लीजिए आप।
एक मिनट अमित, आप कह रहे हैं आपने जो नारे लगाए वो अरुण जेटली के खिलाफ थे, आप इस बात का इनकार करते हैं जो आज ओम प्रकाश जी कह रहे हैं कि आपने एंटी इंडिया स्लोगन्स करवाए।
अरे वो तो कह रहे हैं कि मैंने पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद के नारे लगाए
जी।
मैं इस देश के इतिहास में जो देशद्रोही हैं, जिन्होंने अंग्रेजों के साथ मिलकर मुखबिरी की, हमारे क्रांतिकारियों को फंसाया, उनसे मुझे सर्टिफिकेट नहीं चाहिए। मैं सिर्फ ये कहना चाहता हूं जो कुछ रिकॉर्डेड हुआ है उसका इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो, और बस्सी जी को मैं रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहता हूं कि बस्सी जी, कानून जो है झंडे वाला से नहीं सुप्रीम कोर्ट से चलना चाहिए। आप इन्वेस्टिगेट करिए, मैं गलत हूं, मुझे सजा दीजिए, ओपी शर्मा अगर गलत है तो इनको सजा मिलनी चाहिए, क्योंकि इन्होंने मुझे मारने की धमकी दी है। अगर मुझे कुछ होता है जिसके लिए दिल्ली पुलिस जिम्मेदार होगी।
एक मिनट अमित जी, लेट मी ब्रिंग इन अनुषा सोनी। अनुषा, you were there. There are two sides as always to this story. The BJP now claims that the journalists were not targeted. One view. They also claim that there were anti-national slogans and they were responding to that. Now, no one knows what is an anti-national slogan and who is going to define that. But I want to know from you what exactly happened, because today I met one of the girls on the journalist protest who had been attacked from the Times of India. There was another boy from DNA who had been attacked. Both of them told me that this was completely unprovoked. Please tell me what you saw.
Rajdeep, to begin with, this entire incident was a traumatic period for all of us who were present in the court today. This argument that has been brought forward saying that the journalist was not targeted, I do not agree with it. I was inside the court. There were mobs of lawyers who were hounding for journalists.
They were looking for journalists?
They were looking for journalists. They were asking, are you a journalist? What are you doing here? Where are your mobile phones? You better get out of this court premise or we'll snatch away your mobile phone, like we have done with many other journalists. We were literally told this. I was trying to go inside the magistrate court where this entire scuffle was happening. I was stopped by a few fellow journalists who were trying to tell me that kindly do not go there. There's a very bad incident going on there. At the same time, on the anti-national slogans that you're talking about, as an eyewitness, I can tell you, I did hear slogans supporting Kanhaiya. I did hear slogans which were anti-government, asking the government to take action, asking Arun Jaitley, to do justice. But a slogan as far as going supporting Pakistan, or I could call it anti-national, as you say, it's very difficult to deny. I do not recall hearing that slogan.
And what were was there physical attack on the journalists when they went looking for journalists? Did they, because there are words, we'll break your phones and break your bones. Was this exactly the line? Media wale to वैसे ही terrorists हैं, journalists are terrorists. Was this the kind of language you heard at any stage?
Yes, this was the kind of language. This was the kind of language which was used with me. They came to me. They asked me, where is your mobile phone? Luckily, my mobile phone was inside my bag. They did not see it. They said, either you go out of this court or it will not be good for you. We'll do the same thing that we did to your fellow colleagues. And a lot of my colleagues from other press and media publications, in fact, the correspondent from Mail Today, she herself was physically assaulted inside the court. Her phone was being snatched. They had to run to the place where the judge sits, and even there I can tell you, women journalists were being dragged with their hair, their hands.
Women journalists were being dragged. Women journalists were being dragged with their hair and hands.
Yes, yes. And if you see, there are certain pictures which are doing social rounds on the media, on the Facebook. Few of the fellow journalists have even shared this picture. So no one was spared in that entire scuffle. And I, along with two other journalists from other media organizations, we were escorted outside the court premises with our wrists. There was an entire mob of lawyers which came to us, and this is happening at the same time when Mr. Jaitley was inside the court. So yes, Rajdeep, this is very unfortunate.
Okay, I'm going to keep you there as you tell this story. It's shocking what we are hearing. Here is a young reporter doing her job, and instead of her being allowed to do her job, her colleagues are dragged by the hair, they are abused and attacked. Is this the ugly face of patriotism? Amit Jami, thank you for joining us, because you've given us your view of what happened. I don't have Om Prakash Sharma now to contradict and conflict with what you've said, but I do want to now turn to the Delhi police, because the Delhi police is under increasing pressure to act against those who beat up journalists. Remember, these are so-called lawyers who are in the courtroom. This is what B.S. Bassi had to tell us. He told Rahul Kawal that the guilty will not be spared. He also claimed the police had definite proof that there was seditious activity going on in JNU.
Barrage of criticism directed at the Delhi police, and I want to take it one by one, starting with your comment after the attack at the Patiala House Court on JNU professors, students and journalists, when you said this is a minor scuffle. Choti moti baat. A choti moti baat, you think, sir?
See, I must tell you, Rahul, the moment I came to know that some incidents have taken place at Patiala House Court, I told my officers that they should take the matter very seriously, and whatever action is required to be taken by us under the law, that must be taken. If it is necessary to register a case, the case must be registered, and I may tell that we have registered 2 cases in this for the incidents at Patiala House Court. One case we have registered for the alleged assault by some lawyers on some journalists, and then also we have registered a case of the incident which took place outside.
No, but why would you, as the chief of the Delhi police, describe this as a minor scuffle?
See, if you, when I'm dealing with crime, I deal with a variety of crime. And in this case, if you go into the background, the whole thing started with, an argument which happened inside the courtroom when certain persons had occupied the seats which are supposed to be meant for this. And
JNU professors and students.
You see, yeah. So then, the lawyers, when they requested the concerned individuals to vacate the seats for the lawyers, so this was not accepted, and which necessitated even the intervention by the court concerned. The reader of the court had to come and request the people to leave the chairs for the lawyers. So that, if I may say, vitiated the climate. And thereafter, when some people were outside, they were raising some slogans. So that led to some heated arguments.
No, one second. You're saying that pro-Pakistan slogans were raised outside the Patiala House
Some
Court.
slogans were raised. Some slogans, which we are going to look into all aspects.
Very soon thereafter, there was a scuffle. Now we've seen OP Sharma, BJP MLA,
that is what I'm saying.
who's seen on camera beating up someone. We've seen Vikram Singh Chauhan, an advocate, beating up people. Why have these people not been arrested so far, Commissioner?
See, that is why I'm saying. It's not only allegations but also counter allegations. Because, like, for instance, Mr. OP Sharma is claiming that somebody had hit him, and then thereafter he tried to catch hold of that person. So we'll have to look into the facts very seriously, and then come to a logical conclusion, and then take action. And for your information, these cases have been registered by us on our own motion.
My big question tonight, have the country's lawmakers, the lawyers, the politicians turned lawbreakers? What happened yesterday in Patiala House Court? Why is there not greater outrage over what happened yesterday in the courts? Joining me now, Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Member of Parliament, National Spokesperson, Congress; Nalin Kohli, National Spokesperson, BJP; Rahul Jalali, the President of the Press Club of India; Prashant Bhushan, Advocate of the Supreme Court; Soli Sorabji, Advocate, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court; former Attorney General; Anusha Soni, legal correspondent, is still with us, giving us the details. I don't know if you caught the details, Nalin Kohli, but here is a woman reporter having the courage to tell exactly what she saw in front of her eyes. She is not associated with any party, any ideology. Journalists being attacked, women journalists being pulled by the hair, being abused, and your leader OP Sharma, instead of apologizing today for beating up someone outside there, has gone on defending himself and said he will defend this in the name of Bharat Mata. What is going on? Does Bharat Mata tell you to attack a woman journalist, Mr. Nalin Kohli, and your party doesn't say a comment on it? Till today, I haven't heard a single comment from a BJP leader distancing himself or criticizing OP Sharma for what happened, or any of the lawyers, all of whom are involved with the BJP's legal cell.
If you have finished your tirade, I'll try to answer.
Well, I am angry today. I am very angry.
So am I.
I have respect for you.
Yes, and so
people
I have
like
respect
you have not
for anybody.
spoken.
I have respect, and I will not tolerate any lady being manhandled. I am equally. But that's okay. You are entitled to your anger, but you can't hold me personally liable for that.
I'm not holding you, but someone from your party, sir, should speak out.
So therefore, let's go one by one.
Yes.
First of all and let's please segregate all of it. We put everything into the same pot and we'll have confusion. It is condemnable. I'm saying it officially. I'm saying it straight. There cannot be manhandling of any lady or any individual. A. There cannot be violence. As an advocate also I'm saying this. There are other people who are senior than me in the courts. I'm sure they will say the identical thing. It's not something to be proud of when a fellow advocate is going to be involved in breaking the law. It makes each advocate cringe. Now let's come to the third. O.P. Sharma's video is there. He has a set of claims. But from the way you put it, I'm under the impression that are you suggesting that he even pulled your reporter's hair? Because that is news to me if that is true.
No, there are two parts, sir. There is a lawyer of the BJP's legal cell, sir, Vikram Chauhan.
I don't know this person either. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you.
You
just
don't know
to say,
Vikram Chauhan?
No, I don't know. I've never met him. At least I have never.
I have photographs of him. If I will ask my producer to show photographs of him with Rajnath Singh and with BJP leaders. Now, are you going to act against this Mr. Vikram Chauhan?
Mr. Sardesai,
sir,
first of all,
there he
I
is.
only say...
He's on screen now.
Sure, that's okay. I don't know this gentleman personally. Now, in a big meeting, if he's met me, I don't know. There are 500 people who come and take photographs with me and selfie. I don't know this guy. I'm saying it here. I don't lie.
Okay.
Now, is he part of the BJP legal cell? I don't even know that. Now, some people say he's not part of it. He moves with BJP people. But it doesn't remove the fact if he's involved in violence, does it change anything? It doesn't change that anywhere. So therefore, let's be clear about it first, because I don't even know whether we have a legal cell functioning in the same manner.
Will you give me an assurance, sir? Will you give me an assurance that if Vikram Chauhan is found to be a BJP member and the proof is there on video that he was beating up journalists or assaulting journalists, you will ensure that he has nothing to do with your party, sir?
No, I can't give you any assurance on that till we know for certainty first about him, A. Two, if it is, there is going to be a criminal procedure, I'm sure. There might be some who may go to the Bar Council of India. So there will be action. The party is entitled to want to take any action that it may deem fit.
So why not say, why not be clear to me, sir?
Because I'm not the disciplinary committee. Okay. But you understand broadly what I'm saying it.
Okay.
I'm using a separate set of words which I'm entitled to, and I'll put it in the perspective which is correct.
Okay.
From my party as a spokesperson. But you understand the context of what I'm saying. There's no question about this. Nothing can be condoned in that manner.
You know, my worry, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, is what is happening is that this entire issue is now turning disturbingly polarizing and political. And the fact is that we now find ourselves that journalists are caught as soft targets in the middle of the crossfire. Journalists who have nothing to do with Congress or BJP, with claims of nationalism and anti-nationalism. Journalists are not Desh Drohis. Why is it that journalists are getting tangled in what seems to be a Congress versus BJP battle, or Congress left on one side and the BJP on the other? Dr. Singhvi.
Rajdeep, it's a much larger issue than this, and I think this tactic... Rajdeep, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Rajdeep, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Rajdeep, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Mr. Dr. Singhvi.
It's a much larger issue, Rajdeep, and give me 2 minutes.
Yes.
It's a much larger issue. This whole issue is being diverted by making it into a thicket of facts and saying deniability. It's a much larger issue. Firstly, read the speech. You have to rewind back to JNU. Look, I disagree with almost 80% of the speech. But any objective reader of that, the speech is available on YouTube, it's available everywhere. If anybody in his right senses can call it seditious, it means we have no freedom of speech in this country. It's a virulently critical speech of the RSS and the ABVP. It has nothing about sedition.
Yes.
And it has been actioned in a virulent way merely because the ABVP, RSS and the BJP is the target.
Are you saying?
Please read the speech.
Are you saying slogans like Bharat ki Barbadi? Are you saying those slogans are not seditious? Bharat ki Barbadi, Afzal.
1 minute.
Yes.
1 minute. Read the whole speech. The speech talks of history. 1 minute. That's the problem. People talk selectively. I've got the speech. He talks of Ambedkar, the history of Bharat, and he attacks the RSS and the ABVP, but he talks at the end, who is Afzal Guru, the last one para. There is nothing seditious. Number two, let me complete, Rajdeep. Number two, people forget that there is judgment of the Supreme Court galore. Balwant Singh, 1995, on the day of Indira Gandhi assassination, a group of people near Neelam Cinema raised slogans, Khalistan Zindabad, Hinduon pe Raj karega Punjab, Khalsa jiyega. Hauled up for sedition. Supreme Court holds it requires more than slogans or sentences. It requires overt acts to qualify as a sedition. Number three, the fallout of JNU is what you see in Patiala House. A group of lumpen elements which cannot be called lawyers. They are a group of persons associated with the extreme form of fanaticism of the BJP.
One minute.
Disturbance.
One minute.
They trash journalists.
One
they
minute
trash
now.
other lawyers, and they try to pass off as lawyers. 1 minute. And you then try to pass it off as a factual dispute which will be investigated. What has happened is, you have on camera people of the BJP legal cell, a particular political party's people, you have on camera Mr. O.P. Sharma, and now you go into a factual deniability. I would say three things.
No, you've had your 2 minutes.
Stand together, and everybody who values freedom of speech must stand together, because if you read the speech, it is fascism. If you hold them people up like this for freedom of speech.
Okay.
And then
you made your point.
A quick retort. Because just remember one thing, Rajdeep.
You made your point.
WhatsApp is sent in the morning. Calling people to Patiala House to teach these JNU students a lesson. A WhatsApp is sent. The people are called to Patiala House clearly to disrupt.
Retort.
Now this is a rule of law country.
I have several more voices to go to.
Used by JNU students.
I have several more voices.
Dr. Singhvi, doesn't mean I can stop their right to free speech.
Dr. Singhvi, you made your point. You made your point. Let Nalin Kohli quickly respond, and then I want to go to Soli Sorabji. Quick response.
Very quick. One is, besides Bharat ki barbadi tak jang rahegi, I find it fascinating that Afzal hum sharminda hai, tere qatil zinda hai. Which of course, along with the jung, I don't know how does Dr. Singhvi pass it as so light. It's against the whole due process of law, because he was finally convicted by the Supreme Court. And I'm sure Dr. Singhvi would share equally strong sentiments when at that time his party's ministers were against black flags that were waved against Rahul Gandhi, Jitin Prasad and I think RPN Singh, had actually gone and physically assaulted, hit and kicked and all that. That's also on video. So I hope it's not a selective outrage. It's against any form of violence by anyone, and action against all.
Sir, I want to make it very clear. As I come back to the key issue at the moment, I come back to the key issue that I want to discuss today. Any form of violence, let's be clear. Slogans are one thing, violence is unacceptable. If the students of JNU incited violence, then they should be punished according to law. But if the lawyers in the court of the Patiala House Court resorted to that and targeted journalists, they must be also. Just a minute, Nalinji. Anusha, before I come to Soli Sorabji, I want to understand this. Were they lawyers? You cover the courts every day. Were the people who are responsible for what happened in the Patiala House lawyers or not? Have you ever seen them? Were they lawyers?
Well, Rajdeep, there was certainly a crowd of over 200 people which had gathered outside. There were some familiar faces which we knew, and there were also many new faces which we did not know.
And were they the ones responsible? These new faces were the ones who were attacking you all?
Yes, very broadly speaking, most of the people who we sought, who were indulging in this violence, who we saw beating up journalists in front of us, were new faces. They were not
new faces. Soli Sorabji, what are we to understand? The courtroom, a temple of justice and democracy, and there journalists are beaten up like this. Surely something is wrong, sir, with your legal community. Are these political activists masquerading as lawyers? Is that the fear, Mr. Sorabji?
Rajdeep, the main thing is they are not lawyers. They are lawbreakers. They are gundas. They pass as lawyers. I mean, it's absolutely reprehensible. It's shameful. And I think, apart from police inquiry investigation, I think the Bar Council of India should step in and take strong action against these lawyers after giving them a fair hearing. It's absurd. As it is, the image of the law community, legal community is not very bright. Now, when these things happen, I mean, I just can't understand. Maybe the sloganeering was bad, but they can't take the law in their own hands and commit violence on people, on journalists, especially lady journalists. I think we've gone completely berserk in this, and the real reason is, I think it's a misnomer to call them lawyers.
But
they're not lawyers at all. I repeat, they're gundas.
They're gundas. But Prashant Bhushan, is there a divide? Is there a divide even in the courtrooms today, where there may be these group of lawyers, particularly in the Patiala House Court, who perhaps represent a particular ideological view, who will come to a courtroom and shout Bharat Mata Ki Jai and then target journalists? Is there an ideological divide today even within the courts?
Yes, I mean, there are always and there are certainly some lawyers
And perhaps some people in every strata of society who have imbibed these kind of fascist views of the BJP, which are that no rational discussion of anything should be permitted, and that if people and that this kind of jingoism and this kind of shouting, etc., that these people are traitors, these people are anti-nationals, etc., thereafter no rational discussion, etc., will be permitted. If anybody raises his voice against that, they will be beaten up. This is the kind of message that a fascist organization seeks to give, and which is what the BJP is seeking to give.
But should these lawyers not be named and shamed? Mr. Prashant Bhushan, should these lawyers not be named and shamed?
Not just named and shamed. Their licenses must be immediately suspended forthwith. They should go to jail. What they have done is not merely a criminal offense of assault and battery. What they have done amounts to contempt of court and gross professional misconduct. And for the BJP and its spokespersons everywhere today, Nalin is not supporting them, but I have seen so many spokespersons as well as BJP functionaries, including this lumpen MLA that they have, this O.P. Sharma. All of them are supporting this. O.P. Sharma goes and says that if I had a gun, I would have shot him. What is this kind of culture that the BJP is breeding?
Before I go to Rahul Jalali of the Press Club, Nalin Kohli, let's just settle it. The statement made by O.P. Sharma, if I had a gun, I would have shot him. Can such a person be an MLA? Can O.P. Sharma remain an MLA of a party like this? Is this the party you want to be part of? No, don't laugh, Nalin Kohli. Please don't laugh. This is on air. I will play the recording again for you. Let me play it again. No, let me play it again. I want you to hear it. Please play O.P. Sharma and let Nalin Kohli respond. Please play the recording of what he told Rahul Kanwal. Let's hear what O.P. Sharma said. I want you to respond to
laughing at this.
If I had a gun, I would have opened fire. Won't I beat up someone who abuses one's mother? क्या मतलब हुआ ये? विधायक हैं आप, गुंडों वाली बातें कर रहे हैं?
पता नहीं आपको क्या लग रहा है?
नहीं, क्या लग रहा है? आप बताएं क्या लगना है?
क्या करें?
क्या करें?
बताइए।
आप बताइए।
आपको मारेगा भी, भारत माता को गाली भी देगा, और फिर क्या उसकी आरती उतारी है? क्या करें?
तो हाथ पैर चलना ठीक है?
नहीं, इसमें दिक्कत क्या है जब कोई मार रहा है?
You know, is this Nalin Kohli? Tell me once and for all. Should such a person be the member of a ruling party?
No, I think we play, first of all, let's go one by one. I've said it at the beginning, that there is no place for violence, and certainly not.
He's endorsing violence.
May I finish my answer? I've got the hang of it, but you don't expect me, Mr. Sardesai, to answer in the words you would like me to answer with.
Yes.
Let me finish.
Yes.
So therefore, as I said, certainly there is no place for violence, one. Two, as I can make out from this, there's an instigation that he's speaking about, I was hurt. It's a reaction. Now, after that incident, to go out and say that we are going to pick up a gun and shoot something, obviously that's silly. That's not you're going to pick it up and say that's a great mature thing and this is how an ideal MLA should speak about. He's speaking in an emotive manner.
Emotive?
And of course it's emotive. It's not a rational manner in which you would speak. I mean, you and I think, are not going to do that.
Okay.
And the last thing to say is, when you say that your party, etc., I hope we are extending it across the spectrum.
Oh,
otherwise
absolutely.
you'll say I'm politicizing.
Any party which takes violence into their own hands, whether it is any party which attacks an RSS worker in Kerala or attacks journalists here,
exactly,
is responsible.
Because I wanted to make that point.
Yeah, I make the point. I am happy to make the point. But Rahul Jalali, president of the Press Club, today in a unique display of solidarity, more than 800 journalists marched the streets, signed this memorandum, took it to the Supreme Court. At the same time, there will be those who will say, why now? Why can't the press come together? Why is it only on this issue? Was this protest against Mr. Narendra Modi's government? Against the government? Is this about anti-Modiism or is this about attacks on journalists?
No. It's got nothing to do with Mr. Narendra Modi. No, it's not an anti-Modi move. This entire move was against the attack on journalists. And look at it. I think I need to congratulate all journalists who had come there, because every opinion was reflected here. You had the NUJ, you had the DUJ, you had Press Club, you had the Women's Press Club. You were there. You know, these many journalists I've seen after the press bill was passed and a journalist demonstration took place, where BJP was a part of it. I think even their opinion was reflected, as Nalin Kohli is saying, in this march. So we have displayed a unity, which is something which the lawyers, you were just talking about the lawyers, should learn from us.
So
this is how.
So it's not
you
anti-government?
defend- Of course not. I mean, we are making a substantive issue that journalists have been beaten up. We want justice. Because let me also make it clear that when journalists get beaten up, it is a questioning the very basis of our constitution. It's an attack. It's an attack which takes place in the court. It's an attack which takes place on innocent young journalists who are there just to cover. They do not have any political affiliations. So what are you attacking? You're basically attacking freedom of speech also. And that is what we journalists, the fourth estate of the democracy, guarantees to our country. We are all nationalists. We all are. I mean, we are not anti-nationals. All of you, me, we have struggled. We want this nation's integrity and unity to remain. None of us go against it. So I think this should be seriously considered. Action should be taken. I welcome Nalin Kohli joining us. And I want everyone, the country, to join us. And let me also inform you that I've just got phone calls from the press club in Bombay, from press club in Chandigarh. I'm getting phone calls from other press clubs who are all going to stage demonstration, not against any political party or any political opinion, but just on the substantive question of beating journalists and on the question of freedom of press. Because remember, journalists are under attack not only in Delhi. It's not a question of only BJP. You remember we had that huge session where a journalist was killed in Uttar Pradesh? So this is a phenomena which is a countrywide phenomena. So let's not single out a political party. I think we need to build a movement right through the country which guarantees journalists their freedom of expression.
That is the worry here, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, that what is at stake now? You will say this is about the RSS and this is about the ideology and fascism, and those are the words that you will use. The worry, of course, is that this is not the first time journalists have been singled out. It has also happened in the past in Congress-ruled states. In Maharashtra, when your government was in power, the Shiv Sena would routinely target journalists and would often get away with it. My point is the Congress party now going to shoot off the backs of journalists, innocent journalists like Anusha who are reporting, and then target the BJP? Or are you willing to make the wider principled point that this is simply about freedom of press in a democracy? This is about democratic ideals. This is not Congress versus BJP. Do you accept that, Dr. Singhvi?
Rajdeep, after that long comment, please listen to me for a minute. There are two distinct facets. It starts from fascist intolerance, starting from what happened at JNU, continuing on to Kanhaiya Kumar's trial and remand in the Patiala court. That is one part. And I squarely blame the BJP, the RSS, the ABVP, etc., which is clearly reflected in the speech. I don't know why nobody is reading the speech. Number two aspect is that continuing from there with a morning SMS saying, please all of you come to Patiala House to teach anti-nationals a lesson, you then degenerate into
do you have a, 1 minute.
Now
do you have proof of that? Do you have a proof of that WhatsApp message?
These are fake lawyers.
Dr. Singhvi,
these are fake lawyers.
do you have proof?
Let me complete, Rajdeep, let me complete.
WhatsApp message?
It is precisely this deniability which is wreaking havoc. Of course, your correspondent gave proof just now. Of course, it is there. WhatsApp message is there. Your journalist confirmed that 90% were new faces, and thereafter happened the indiscriminate beating of journalists.
No, she has not spoken about WhatsApp message.
This part is not BJP Congress. But the fact remains, 1 second, Rajdeep, the fact remains that the people who are doing the beating up belonged to a particular affiliate of a particular political party. They claim to be part of the cell or supporters. Now, I'm not going to go and check the membership card which you are carrying when you are beating me up. That's not the point. The point is that a particular philosophy, a particular thinking, and I don't mean that every BJP person has that thinking.
Yes.
This is fascism at its worst. It then degenerates into attack on freedom of speech. It degenerates into attack on journalists. For God's sake, don't bring the Congress into it.
No, I'm not. No,
Dr.
Singhvi.
Or a leftist,
Dr.
or a communist, or a Naxalite.
No, 1 minute.
This is sheer beating of people in the court premises. It is a criminal offence. It is free speech. It is contempt of court. and it deserves the strongest action, and I have not seen any condemnation worth the name from senior BJP persons till now.
Just a minute.
They are the ruling party,
Dr.
they are the
Singhvi,
ruling government. Tell me, which round condemnation have you seen?
Let me just ask two questions. First to you, Anusha. Did you see any WhatsApp app message? Have any journalists seen a WhatsApp message asking lawyers to gather at Patiala House Court and teach journalists a lesson?
Rajdeep, as far as I am concerned, I did not get any message like that, neither have I seen. But I can confirm some hearsay which was going around in the circles at the court within the journalists. The journalists have been talking about that since Friday, there has been a message which was being circulated saying that come to the Patiala House Court to teach anti-nationals a lesson.
But you have not seen it.
I have not seen it.
But this is what you were told, come to Patiala House Court to teach anti-nationals a lesson. Soli Sorabji, before I come to you, Nalin Kohli, this is getting worse for you. O.P. Sharma is a close aide of Arun Jaitley, the Information and Broadcasting Minister of the country. Mr. Jaitley was in the courts when this incident happened. I haven't heard a stinging response from Mr. Jaitley to what O.P. Sharma had to say or what happened to the journalists outside. Mr. Arun Jaitley is known to be a defender of freedom of press, someone who fought the emergency. I would expect a little more from Arun Jaitley. Would you agree?
No, we are all. By the way, even I was in the courts. Mr. Sharma was also in the courts. We were all there in another court. We were not here. We were there for that defamation case.
So why can't I see a stronger statement from someone like Arun Jaitley?
Well, perhaps, how do you know? You're just presuming that there is going to be no statement. That's one part.
It's 24 hours. Okay, it's 24 hours.
But I've said it on part of the party.
BJP leaders tweet at the slightest moment. BJP leaders who tweet at the slightest moment are silent at the moment. What is this, Mr. Kohli? 24 hours. He's the INB minister. He was in the court when this happened.
Now you're finished, Mr. Sardesai.
Yes, I am, and I told you I'm angry, sir. Sorry to appear a little different to my normal, calm self.
It's okay, Mr. Sardesai. I don't take it personally either. We are all entitled to feel emotional.
Yes.
I mean, each one of us are human beings first.
Yes.
And I said it at the beginning. I'm not going to stand for any manhandling of another fellow human being, and certainly not of a lady. Certainly not. Anyway, coming to the point I wanted to make is that I think that's being a little tad unfair to Mr. Jaitley. Yesterday he was involved with his case matters. So maybe he didn't do it. Maybe he will. I don't know. And he would. But as a spokesperson, I've said it. Fair enough. It's a legitimate expectation. I don't say that.
I have an expectation that Mr. Jaitley will take this up. But Soli Sorabji.
Okay. But I have another point to make quickly.
Yes.
Because Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi went in terms of the whole thing and spoke about fascism in great detail.
Yes.
I'm sure Mr. Singhvi will today make it unequivocally clear that he strongly condemns historically the emergency and what happened to many journalists, and he holds that also as a clear example of state organized. I hope we are all on the same page.
Dr. Singhvi, before I come to Soli Sorabji for a final word, do you agree? 30 seconds that you today also, the Congress's problem is your history prevents you from taking the moral high ground on occasions like this.
Rajdeep,
quick response, quick.
First of all, no. Let me tell you, Rajdeep.
Yes.
Rajdeep. First of all, what relevance does today's thing have to go back to the emergency? Second, we paid for the emergency with huge upheaval, with loss of government, with Mrs. Indira Gandhi suffering. We did all those deeds, and that's 30, 40, 50 years ago. Mr. Nalin Kohli raises it in today's context and says that beating up journalists on court premises is justified because
I didn't justify.
He didn't
not
do
by
that.
individuals
He
particularly,
didn't
but because of a state machinery.
No, be fair to Mr.
I don't
Kohli.
see the connection.
He didn't justify. He says the Congress can't take the moral high ground, but Soli Sorabji, you can take the moral high ground.
What is the relevance of this today?
Okay, Soli Sorabji, you can. No, 1 minute, Dr. Singhvi. Soli Sorabji, you can take the moral high ground. So I want to ask you, what is the lesson here, sir? As one of the senior members of the jurist community today, is it a moment of shame for someone like you to see what is happening around you, sir?
I said so, Rajdeep. I really hang my head in shame that so-called lawyers, as I said, this is a misnomer to call them lawyers, that they behave in this manner, indulge in violence. But you know, Rajdeep, the fact of the matter is, the tribe of journalists is not really liked by politicians and political leaders because they don't like criticism. They don't like to be exposed. They don't like the misdemeanors to be brought out in the public, and that's what the journalists done. So I think there is a inherent, latent dislike of the journalists by politicians to whichever party they belong.
Sir, they can be a dislike of us, sir, but we are not anti-national. To call us Deshdrohis, to beat up young girls in court who are covering a matter to traumatize the likes of Anusha Soni is unacceptable, sir. You can dislike me as much as you want, sir. The politicians, I like to be disliked, but I am not anti-national and I don't have to give a certificate of my nationalism, sir. And most journalists also don't have to go through that in a courtroom, sir.
And Rajdeep,
yes, Rahul. Yes, Rahul, you wanted to make a final point.
One last point.
Yes.
That I also want to tell, like what Soli just said, I completely agree with him. Political parties, and I'm not just talking of BJP, everyone across the spectrum seem to lose their cool. This is an increasing tendency when a slightest criticism comes. And I think political parties have to mature. If we need, you cannot expect only journalists to carry forward this democracy. I welcome Mr. Kohli's move and everyone else's move from the political spectre that please respect journalism and journalists. Because if we are not there, remember, you won't be there because there'll be no one to report what you do. And if journalists don't exist, no one exists.
Let's leave it there.
We carry your information to people.
Let's leave it there. Stop shooting
just
the messenger.
Just one sentence with your indulgence.
Stop shooting the messenger, and I hope to see Arun Jaitley. Yes, I will give you the indulgence. Quick, 30 seconds.
No, I think what I just want to point out that it's critical that without journalism we can't have a strong democracy. And the irony is that our freedom struggle, both lawyers and journalists, played a critical role.
Yes.
So I mean, it's you know, I think it's a sad commentary where we.
Sir, it's a sad day. Let's leave it there.
We should work together.
Let's leave it there. It is a sad day, a day of shame, as Soli Sorabji calls it. And maybe this is the ugly face of patriotism at times, or those who call them, as I call them, pseudo-patriots who believe they have a monopoly on Desh Bhakti. Don't teach young journalists like Anusha Soni whether they are patriots or not. They do a hard day's job like a lot of Indians out there. Let's leave it there. Today, journalists, who knows who else will be the target come tomorrow.
The Delhi Police Commissioner B.S. Bassi, the Delhi Police is claiming that there is clear evidence against the JNU Students' Union President Kanhaiya Kumar. Police Commissioner B.S. Bassi saying that there is clear proof.